Here we go, guys. How are we? Change my Emma, Kath, Rosie. Good to see you guys. Hey, Emma. Are you cooking by any chance? Rosie says, sorry, my camera's off this evening. Just got back from a run, needed food. No problem. All good. I'm just going to change my speaker view. All good, ladies. Right, I'm going to dive straight in if that's all good with you guys. I'm more than happy to answer questions as we go, make this interactive, and I'll be popping the recording into the group after as well. So excited. Right, let me get this up. Present. Awesome. Right, let me do share screen. How are we doing today? Are we like, give me a number out of 10. How are we feeling? Are we good? Are we excited? Have we got first of the month energy? In fact, I know from Kath and Rosie, I know you're feeling like happy that it's September, first of the month. Virgo season is upon us.
I was going to say, instead of putting in the chat, yes.
Oh
So glad summer is done.
my
I'm back in my element.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, let's explode this freaking season. I was saying this on my stories earlier, but we're coming into the biggest season in sales, in business. Like, this is the season where everybody just goes absolutely crazy for spending. And so how better of a time to get yourself as visible as possible where it counts, where people have got bigger budgets, bigger opportunities than now. And everything, you know, all the momentum that you create now in September will keep on serving you through October, November, December. So really, really freaking exciting. Rosie says, very good, 10, so excited for the rest of the year. Yes. Whoop, whoop. Awesome. Okay, I am going to get straight into sharing. Dum, da, da. Give me a thumbs up if you're looking at the right screen. I always like to make sure. Are we good? Are we looking at Leverage LinkedIn? Awesome. Wicked. Now, I know some of you are in the middle of doing things. I know you might not have a notepad and pen, but if you do, awesome. But ask questions as you want as we're going. By all means, pop them in the chat. Would love to know. I know from Kath and a little bit from Rosie when you popped it in the chat earlier, but are you someone who is already using LinkedIn and wants to be using it better? Are you someone who's dabbled with it and want to understand it a little bit better? Or are you someone that's like brand new to it? It freaks you out, or you've just not attempted on LinkedIn before? Let me know where you're at, because I'm excited for this 30-day challenge. Where are we at? Let's see, chat here. We've got on it and posting, but ghosting. Ooh. Rose says, I'm on there, I have no idea what I'm doing, really want to understand the platform. Awesome. I think Kath, you're someone that started posting and want to be using it better, would we be saying? Like early stage?
Yeah. Am I allowed to speak, or do you want me to put it in the chat?
Yeah, you could be. Go on.
Nice. Yes, just starting. I feel like posting and ghosting is definitely, I've just like posted and then left it. So I'd really like to learn how to like interact and be a bit more conversational and like enjoy it properly.
Okay, awesome. I'll weave some of those bits in then. Wicked. So, welcome to 30-day challenge to explode your visibility, build your professional network, and bring you high quality clients and opportunities. Go over here. A little bit about why LinkedIn. It's the only platform that was built for business. So everyone that's on that platform is there for and to do business. So no scrolling, no wasting time, not there to be entertained, no little cat videos, not there for a little dopamine fix. They're there to do business. So people's mindset when they're on that platform is very different to their mindset when they're on other social media platforms. They're not looking to have that as their downtime. They're looking to be part of a professional network. So the more active you are over there, it's all visibility that counts, rather than when you're posting on other platforms, you might come across more people who are just considering their options, whereas you've got a very different intentionality over on LinkedIn. Rose said, that is something I love about LinkedIn. I felt that straight away. Yeah. People are commenting and starting conversations for professional reasons. Everybody wants to get more visible in front of a professional audience. And also, get their opinion across, A, in a place that matters, but B, then share more of a professional opinion and take part in conversations. Because what I mean by this is how you put yourself across, as in, and I've said this in all of my coaching containers, people don't buy what you do, they buy you. Now, I know this isn't new to any of you, but the more that you can put out your professional opinion and, you know, your values, your personality, the way that you see the world, and get involved in challenging debates. You know, there's really interesting and sometimes very topical conversations that happen on that platform. So I'd really encourage you to get involved in conversations, because even though they might be a bit hard hitting sometimes, and there's definitely going to be people that disagree with you, that's how you bring out your really values driven clients, the ones who are just like, yes, you know, I see the world the way that she sees the world, and we're really aligned on this, and this, because those things are the things that are really important. Yes, people are looking for quality of service and can I trust this person? Do I want to spend the next 6-12 months with this person, for example? But being aligned in your values is so much more important than anything else when you're thinking about the working relationship that you're going to build. So the more that you can get out your values and the way that you see the world and what you really stand for and what you really don't in a place that is your professional network, the more people can be like, yes, she is for me. Awesome. So before we get started, I've been using LinkedIn on and off since my corporate sales days to find senior level decision makers, get my face out there to the industry from a brand awareness and recognition perspective. Because I was using this long before social media was a really big thing. I used to go along to industry events and networking events, and I'd add people on LinkedIn as soon as I got back or as soon as I'd got their business card, because I wanted them to put a face to the name. I wanted them to be like, oh, that's that girl that I spoke to, and it have that really quick recognition potential. So I wanted to go out, spread my seed across the industry, but be instantly noticed. And so LinkedIn was my way of connecting with people, the same way as if I was going to an event. I'd look at who was going to be there, go onto their profile before going, so that they'd get a little notification of, Sarah has looked at your profile. Like, I 100% use that to my advantage, and you can too. For any people that you want to be seen and noticed by, when you go to their profile, they'll get a little notification that says, Kath has looked at your profile, Rosie has looked at your profile. And so when you're wanting to be seen by, either maybe you're going for people in leadership positions, or maybe you're wanting to target a certain company or brand, go and look at all of the people that work in the senior leadership team and make yourself known to all of those people. Because especially, and I used to use this in sales as well, is if I was having a conversation with Mark, let's say, I would go and get a notification on all of Mark's colleagues, so that when he was having a conversation in the office about, oh, I've been speaking to Sarah about da 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 da, they all knew who I was. So it's about intentionally getting your face, name, and brand out there, and being seen in the places where you want to be seen. You know, yes, we can put out the content and wait for people to come to us, but also LinkedIn's a really great place for getting yourself out there and making sure you've been noticed by the right people. So it's also really good for finding new clients and finding people who are similar to them. It's a really powerful tool, is the similar profile tool. And finding out about new things that are happening in the industry. So whether that's news articles, whether it's events, whether it's partnerships, campaigns, anything that's new that's coming out on social media, I'll hear about it first on LinkedIn. Anything that a big brand is doing that is likely to shape the way that a lot of other businesses do businesses, I always hear about it first on LinkedIn. So a really, really powerful platform where people who are thought leaders in their individual industries are coming together to have these conversations. So before we get dived in, what questions do you have around LinkedIn? I'm going to go and answer them as we go anyway, and it might be more helpful to do a Q&A at the end. But is there anything that's like top of mind for you right now that you would love to know?
Yes. Shall I?
Go.
So I just wrote down 3 questions as you was talking there.
Yeah.
You know how you said when you say like you hear important news that might like shape future decisions, the industry, things like that. Is there
Yeah.
a way that you intentionally look for that? Or is it just like literally being on the platform and spending some time there, you might just see it?
Great question. I wouldn't say that I intentionally look for it. I'm just curious to see what other creators are speaking about, and
Yeah.
often that news will come to me in the newsfeed anyway.
Okay, fab.
So yeah, I
Fab.
wouldn't say I go seeking it out,
Okay.
but there'll just be things that, whether it's a new brand campaign that's gone viral and here's what people have to say about it, or
Mm,
a cutting edge new thing. I always hear about it on LinkedIn.
okay,
So yeah,
okay, fab. Thank you.
coming up in the newsfeed. And what I'll do after here is share some popular creators who they're the like either thought leaders, or they always bring like quality content or the most like up-to-date content. So I'll share a list of those in the group chat after.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, good.
Two very basic questions as well, like
Yeah.
really basic questions. These are like absolute beginner, Sarah. So
So we love beginner.
do I need a premium account? Is that worth getting? And do I accept everyone that adds me?
Awesome questions. No, you don't need a premium account.
Okay.
No, you don't need to get a sales navigator.
Okay.
I don't have either. You can get them, and if you really want to be targeting, like, the sales director at companies between 5 and 10,000 employees and get like really specific, absolutely, it will benefit you. Do you
Okay.
need those things? No.
Okay. Okay.
And what was the other question?
Do I just accept everyone that like connects with me or adds me?
It's a great question. Honestly, that's personal choice. Because
Uh,
on LinkedIn, so they can follow you or they connect with you. So anyone can follow you and they don't need to ask your permission.
mm,
Connections is they're coming into that your closest space, if you like, your closest circle, which means that they'll be the people that see your content first.
mm,
So I would be more mindful about who you're connecting with and make that more intentional. You
okay.
can, I used to be really like snooty and be like, if you've not sent me a message as to why you would like to connect with me, you're not worth my time.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the game has changed now, the culture has changed, and people want to connect with people and they don't really have the time or interest. And I have also changed my opinion in this, in that I am not sending a whole long message to every single person I want to connect with.
Mm.
I'm reaching out intentionally. I'm connecting with female entrepreneurs. Am I writing a personalized message to every single one? Absolutely not. Does that mean that they probably won't all accept me? Possibly.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I think it's more about curating your circle with people that you want in it,
Okay.
knowing that those people will see your content first. So if it's just like, um, people that don't speak your language, weird men from other ends of the world,
Hmm.
and just people that are totally irrelevant, then I
Okay.
wouldn't accept those into just because you don't want your content to go to more people like that.
Ah, okay, so that does have an impact. Because at the moment, I am absolutely being friends with everyone, obviously. But if it does have an impact, then I will kind of be more intentional with that. Perfect.
Yeah, and you can tailor things. Like my old, when I came back to sort of revive my LinkedIn, my
Mm.
old industry had been really male orientated. So I knew that the existing audience that I'd got on there was probably like 90% men in construction. So I'd got a lot of work to do,
Yeah.
build a female entrepreneur audience.
Okay.
Um,
Sounds like
yeah,
a great audience.
it's still hit and miss, because things that you post will resonate differently, which we can go into. But yeah, I would say for your connections, be more intentional. You get to be choosy about that.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. But equally, you can outdo the algorithm. Like, for example, if I post a photo and it goes off particularly well with the male audience who I'm not looking to get in front of,
Mm,
I can easily go and connect with a load of women that day, and intentionally message people. And I will, if that happens, to start more conversations, just to be like, hey, I'm Sarah. And I'll have a little intro that's just like, my main platform is on Instagram, but I'm over here building my audience intentionally with more women in the female entrepreneur in network.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
I do love a man in construction, so, if you want any photos, let me know, Sarah.
I got loads.
Thank
Lol.
you.
All good. I'll tell you a funny story when we get to let me get through, and then I'll tell you a message that I had yesterday that I was like, someone messaged me about a photo that I put up, and I was like, if you saw half of what I put on Instagram, this is like a fraction. LinkedIn aren't quite ready for the full level of main character energy that I share on Insta, so you do have to be a little bit choosy about what you share how. But yes, hang on, let's come into it. So some common worries might be, and this might not be the case for you guys, but some common worries have tended to be in the past. What will my old work colleagues think if I'm posting over here? Feeling intimidated by either the level of profile over here or the professional network or the leadership positions. How much time it might take if you're committing to building on the platform. Any of those resonate, any of those valid, or there's not things for you and actually there's no worries, you're just wanting to get started. How much time it takes. Awesome. What do you say, Emma? You can come off mute if you want to chime in. Used to be, but less so these days. Oh, because you've started building. Yeah. Awesome. All right then. Little recap of the opportunity over here on LinkedIn. Number one is longer lasting content. My steak is sizzling away. I love that for you, Emma. Put me one on. Longer lasting content. I love this about LinkedIn because there can be, and as is happening for me now, you'll be getting traffic and engagement and comments on stuff that you posted weeks ago. So especially if you're used to, for example, Insta, where your content tends to have a shelf life of about 2 days, maybe 3 if you're lucky, you can be getting new visibility and new eyeballs on stuff that you posted weeks ago. So especially if you're thinking about when you're in launch, or if you've got an upcoming masterclass, or you're promoting an upcoming event, or stuff that you want to be building momentum weeks ahead in advance, this stuff is really, really powerful. Even if you're not promoting something weeks in advance, your content on any given day can be lasting a lot longer and serving you for a lot longer. So when we're thinking effort versus reward, especially if you're used to building on Instagram, it can feel like the reward is a lot higher from the same level of effort on LinkedIn. Larger reach, because only 1% of creators are actively posting. There's a lot of lurkers over there. A lot of people who aren't posting and are just sideline watchers. You might have seen me say recently that I landed a client last week who told me that she's been, we were connected 10 years ago. We hadn't spoken since. And that she reached out and was speaking about my upcoming event. But her words were, oh, I intended to come last year, but the dates didn't work for me. So she's telling me that she'd already seen my content for years, but she just had never said anything until it was the right time for her. And then came out of the blue and booked a VIP day. And so these things, there could be so many people who are high quality people just waiting until the right time for them, or when the thing that they've needed to see, and then they come out of the blue. So this longer lasting content and the reach that you can potentially have, just because there's not a lot of people taking up space. So it's really easy to get seen. Building a thriving community. What I mean by this is comments on LinkedIn are where all the action happens. Like, it's the conversations that are happening in the comments of posts. So the more that you utilize that, A, to get people commenting on your posts, but B, for you to be commenting in high reach and high visibility places as well, especially with the bigger creators, that brings so much visibility back to your profile and your page. I left a comment on Grace Andrews' post yesterday, who was the ex-editor for Stephen Bartlett's podcast. That comment alone has got over 5,000 views, like crazy. And so you can really, really use your comments intentionally, sprinkle a few across the platform, but get really high visibility and be seen as a thought leader and have more traffic coming back to your page. Visibility where it counts. So LinkedIn users are usually established. So in contrast to other platforms where you might find more beginners or early stage people or people testing things out, that doesn't tend to be the case on LinkedIn. It tends to be a more established place. That's not to say that there aren't any early stage creators, but generally speaking, people have already built success before they're posting on LinkedIn. You do still get people who are like, watch me build this brand, or I intend to do X, Y, Z, come with me on the journey. All good, Emma. So you do still get some creators doing that, but it takes what I would say a lot of balls to really commit from the early stages and do that in public on a professional network. And so they tend to be fewer and far between. Most people on there have already built a high level of success before bringing it onto LinkedIn. So you're in front of established audience. And then lastly, high quality network of professionals. So as I was saying, you've got people who are generally more established, even people, whether they're in corporate roles, whether they work for media, whether they know people that know people. That's one extra thing that I didn't put on this slide, but your visibility in terms of the second network is really, really powerful. So for example, if me and Kath are connected, first person connections, when I post something, it will come into, like, if someone's connected with Kath, it'll come up in their newsfeed because she's connected with me. So your content has such a higher reach because of all the people you're connected by. That's why it's powerful, just touching on what Rosie said earlier, build your connections intentionally, because that second level, you know, how many 6 people removed, your second level people will be going to them as well because of who your first level connections are. So you get really high visibility, but make sure it's people that count and people whose newsfeed you want to be in. But yeah, really significantly higher reach because of that second level of network. Quick recap. In start of last year, I decided to run an experiment. Because I knew I was building for the long game. I wanted to build the She Scales community by getting visible in front of more women in business, point blank, but also more established women in business, growing professional businesses. For example, who here has seen people seemingly fly on IG, and then 5 minutes later, when you click on your followers, they're in the deactivated profiles? Have you checked out your deactivated followers every now and again? Yeah, and it always surprises me, the names that I see in there, because they're people that either I've seen them see massive success, or they were seemingly had it all together, or had a hot shot season and then disappeared. And some of the names that I've seen in those deactivated profiles has really surprised me. Whereas you're just not going to see that as much on LinkedIn. Yes, there might be people that use it more sporadically, but I feel like you're getting a far more professional level of business and not just the wishers, the hopers, the dreamers. So I also wanted to be known, this is no secret, that I love events and I want to speak on more stages. I love being on the stage. And also, yeah, want to speak for more people so that I can impact more people. You know, so I can share main character energy and how you can be your best self and make more money because of that. And so I wanted to be known by more people with opportunities, because whilst it's endlessly powerful for you to be building your brand, there are more people whose brand or opportunities or following you can leverage to help grow yours, they're even more powerful. And so when I was thinking about stages, media, publications, features, all of those people will look to you to see what can they bring me. An example of this is last summer, I reached out to, I think it was Atomicon, because I wanted to speak on their stage. And it was really last minute. And so I knew that I'd probably already missed the deadline. But I was looking at the list of people who were speaking at that time, and I could see that some of the people there weren't going to be really charismatic people speaking on a stage, and that they'd been chosen because they had a big following, not because they were going to be charismatic or energetic for an audience to be engaged by. And so it was picked on seemingly popularity, not necessarily value to the audience. And so I did a bit of a ballsy pitch to be like, if it was based on energy and value to the audience, my name would be on that list. And they were like, ballsy approach, Sarah. But we have filled our slots for this year, but apply for next year. But what that really did show me is that you can be amazing at what you're doing. And I've always said it doesn't matter about the following you have, it matters about your impact. But when you're going for big opportunities or big clients, of course, following helps. Yes, it's not going to be the be all and end all, but the more that you can do to get visible and build your credibility and authority and visibility in front of people that, as in places that matter, but build your following, the more it's going to add to your credibility. So yeah, are you making yourself known to people that matter? That's why I decided to pour more into LinkedIn as of last year, is thinking it's no longer acceptable to be the best kept secret. You know that you're all incredible at what you do. And so the more that we can get you more out there and seen by the right people and the right clients and the right opportunities, you know, the more the merrier. And so I'll cover this a little bit. But in my mission to want to help women across the world to create generational change, this was a no-brainer. And this is why I decided to give LinkedIn a proper go. Think about your biggest business goals. What are they? Even if whether this is something for September or whether this is like your next 12 months goal, what's your really big dick energy goal? Pop something in the chat. Maybe it's you want to speak on a big stage. Maybe it's that you want to sell out your book, launch a book. Maybe it's that you want to host your own event. Maybe it's that you want to use LinkedIn to sell out your 2026 retreat. Maybe it's that you have an upcoming mastermind that you want to be able to leverage that platform. Maybe it's that you want to be seen by people in leadership positions or do more media. Emma says, sell out my 2026 Spain retreats. Yeah. Awesome. Rosie, I need to think about this. Rosie, I know you'll come with a list of about 10 different things. Kat says, be seen by luxury leader positions for bigger clients. Yes. And obviously sell more core spaces. Awesome. Okay. So just recapping my experiment last year, and then we'll get into the good stuff. So the goal was to build a new habit. What I didn't want to do is overload myself with, you know, I need to post every single day. I wanted to make it a manageable habit, make it sustainable, and just to experiment with different types of content and to not attach too much importance or priority to it, because I didn't want to pour all of my eggs into this basket and have that affect the, you know, how I was showing up in my existing space. But I wanted to grow my visibility over there, use that as my visibility platform and bring people over to my main platform on Instagram. Here's how it went. So this was the start of January. You can see 2,645 followers. It was actually 255 when I started. And then 7 weeks later, it was 3,691. And so in just 7 weeks, I doubled my following, which for me at that stage, and I was probably about 3,000 followers on Insta, I'd say, somewhere between 3 and 4. So to double my following on LinkedIn, I was like, whoa. And don't get me wrong, it's a slightly different audience because on Instagram, almost entirely my audience is female. So it's a bit more of a mixed audience, but I really saw the potential to grow my audience faster over there. Now, so yeah, increase of 1,139 followers in just 7 weeks. That's as of this week. I'll be the first to say I've not been super consistent. I definitely don't post. I've gone through patches. I'll post regularly for a month and then I'll disappear for a month. So I'm definitely not consistent over there. And yet I've still built nearly 10,000 followers. And that's with me not being the prime example of how to use LinkedIn. So you can be a bit hot mess, you can be inconsistent, but it's not like the platform will ghost you or hate you or shelter you if you're not the most consistent queen. So I want to reassure you that there's lots of opportunities and ways you can build a solid professional network without having to commit So if you're thinking after this next 30 days, am I going to be able to keep up this habit? Obviously, I would love you to. And also, if you don't, it's not all going to fall to shit. So this is more around, I'm going to help you smash the next 30 days. And also, this is more around helping you to see the potential in LinkedIn, so that I find that LinkedIn is a place where I can create very quickly. I have actually less care about what it looks and feels like, as in I'll be more precious over my Instagram content and more happy to be like, do you know what? I'm just going to speak my thought and get it out over there. So this might help you to release some of the attachment about, because Insta is such a design-based platform and a visual platform, this might help you to release some of the attachment of how it needs to look or feel and actually just speak your truth faster. And so you might find, as I have, that you can create quicker and post more because there's less of the attachment of how it needs to look. So this might be a really freeing experience for you. I'm hoping so. So we're going to do a little optimize your profile, high performing content, networking like a pro, tracking your metrics, and then getting clients on LinkedIn. Okay, number one, optimizing your profile. Make sure that you do this with searchability in mind. What is your ideal client likely to be looking for in terms of keywords and searches? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I know, this is sort of the same on every platform, and I know you guys know this stuff. So have niche relevant keywords in your profile, use featured section to show your best work. On the keyword section in your bio, keep in mind that the first, I would guess, around 10 words, obviously depending on how long they are, is your goldmine space, because when you're commenting in places, anything after that, it goes to the ... So it might only be that first 10 words or so that actually shows when you're commenting in places. So what we want is for you to be able to use that first bit as your prime real estate, so that when you're getting active in places and people are seeing you and like, oh, who's this Rosie person? Who's this Kath person? Those first 5 to 10 words are your goldmine space. So use that to get either your title or who you're for or how you're different in straight away. So you've got that bio, your one-liner right at the top with the most punchy words, or most, who you are and who you are for in that prime real estate. And then when you go down your profile, there's a featured section. You can use that for bookmarking posts. So if you've had a post that popped off or was a real thought leadership piece or an important piece to your business, you can pin it to your featured bit. You can also use that featured bit for links. So whether it's a current freebie that you've got, whether it's a low ticket offer that you've got, whether it's an evergreen masterclass that you've got, whether it's a link to your free community. Yeah, and I don't think there's a limit there. I tend to use about 5 or 6 and just have a variety of freebie, free community, paid offer, popular post, for example, and a link to my podcast where they can go binge more. So you've got some really good space there on your main profile to use your featured spot. Some high performing content. We've really seen a shift in how people use LinkedIn because there is more and more ChatGPT content on there. So I'm pretty sure, Emma, I haven't seen as much of your content, but I know from Kath, from Rosie, you guys all know the power of your first hook is everything. And this is more so on LinkedIn. If you've not got them in that first sentence, they're not going to click read more. So they won't even open the rest of the post. So even if you've written something gold, if that first 1 to 2 lines isn't punchy and attention grabbing, they're not opening the rest of it. So your first 1 to 2 lines is everything. So can it be attention grabbing? Imagine someone's walking and they're on their phone. Are they going to stop walking and pay attention to that thing? Could you stop someone in mid-tracks? I find that LinkedIn is a really great place for sharpening my hooks. Anything that might take me longer to say on Instagram, for example, I cut so much of that out to make it so much more direct on LinkedIn, because people are way shorter of attention span. And as you'll get more familiar with the platform, you'll see this anyway, but people are far more direct, far more attention grabbing, far more, people will use anything for a hook. Absolutely anything. Emma, you might have seen this as someone that's using LinkedIn more. It always baffles me the level that people will go to create a hook out of the most mundane thing. But it's a fascinating practice in creative writing. So your hook is everything. This is also a really great practice for, you can create marketing stories out of your everyday life and make it interesting. So everything is the hook. Share case studies in your content. So the more, especially because we're seeing more and more generic content, as in ChatGPT written content, there's a lot of creators who sold courses on how to excel on LinkedIn, and they sold, here's a good post template, and a lot of people were using those. And so whilst it was really good content, we started to see the same stuff, as in like it was written the same way. And so the more you can be, the better. Because in a sea of more AI written content or templated content, people want to see your authenticity. And to the extent that there's, because there's been a real spike in the amount of people using AI content, it's not getting pushed as high as it was. So the more, like, LinkedIn have got their own bots basically, and if it can tell that you've written it yourself and you've not used AI, it will actually push it higher because of it. So lots to be gained from you being your most authentic self. And what I would say from post structure is, you don't want to be creating whole paragraphs or like big wordy stories. This is about chunky text, as in like quick fire sentences. What is the point that you're trying to get to? What is the yes, no? If they're just doing a quick skim, how can you deliver value without needing to take, paragraphs and paragraphs to talk about it? What is your point? What can people take away? Remember WIFM. What is in it for me? What is in it for them? Get to that point. That's not to say that your posts need to be short, but format them so that they can get to what the point is quickly. Got here. We've talked about case studies, real social proof. So any of your client stories, all of that is yours, uniquely yours, cannot be copied. And so the more, any of my client stories that I've talked about always get high engagement, because it's not just repeatable crap that I've seen somewhere else and I've decided to regurgitate, or thought would be high performing. It's, I'm going to see this client, here's what she's currently going through, and here's what we're going to do because of it. There's far more unique content. Solve clients' challenges with actionable tips. So LinkedIn love an educational post. What can you teach them? What do you do differently that other people don't do? How can you shift their opinion on what they thought your process was? The teach me style content goes down really, really well on LinkedIn. So anybody that tells you educational content is dead, I can tell you it's alive and well on LinkedIn, and they love it. Yes, post consistently, but I've also told you, hands up, I don't post consistently. I go through sporadic times. High value evergreen knowledge. There could be the times when you just have a quick fire thought, or there's a joke that you want to share, or just something that you're like, this needs to be said, and it's just almost like brain fart. Those can do very well sometimes, but generally speaking, the more that you can create high value content, the stuff that A, will serve your audience for a long time, but also B, can serve you for a long time, because the better it does, you can just go back, rinse and repeat that content. And for you avid Instagram users, you can 100% reuse your carousels, either by lifting the text or repurpose the exact carousel and just upload it as a document on LinkedIn. So you can take the exact same thing, you save all of the individual files as one PDF from Canva, and then you upload the PDF as a document on LinkedIn. So you're all sat on reams of content that can be very easily repurposed to LinkedIn. I would still say share some of the text into the body text as well as that carousel, so that the platform can start to get to know what it is that you do and who you're speaking to, and almost like double up. So some content types for you to use. This gets to be like a super easy. We're just going to minimize, because I'd much rather you practice speed and build the habit than be overthinking different types of content. So teach me, motivate me, inspire me, challenge me are 4 content types we will be focusing on for this 30-day challenge. Don't want to pop these in the group after. Oh, Emma says newsletters do really well too. I've got 700 subscribers in a couple of weeks, and it gets emailed to all subscribers. Awesome. So I've not actually toyed with these, but I saw someone the other day talking about that you don't get the actual email addresses from people if they subscribe to your newsletter. Is that correct? Because in which case you either use the newsletter feature and build a really solid subscriber base, because they do get the notification every time you post a new newsletter. So it is still a really great way to build community. And or if you're posting that into your own private community, for example, you could be posting the links to your downloadable freebie into your posts. You can link in the newsletter to your list. Aha, awesome. So some little tips on networking here. Use the search box to find relevant people. So whether you're going after an industry, whether you're going after a certain job title, whether you're going after a certain niche or quality of person, location of person. For example, when I was in Bali, I typed in Coach Bali and found A, lots of incredible people, but B, then messaged them, met up with some of them, went for coffee with some of them. We had an awesome chat about what it's like to be, working online and living in Bali. So you can use the different features of title, industry, company size, geography. There's so many different features inside LinkedIn that you can be using. So you can send DMs to the people who support you. So like if people have left really interesting comments that you're like, yes, this is an interesting person, go send them a message. Use the comment sections for getting yourself visible. So I'll post after here a list of popular creators who post thought leadership content, who are either the first to speak on things, or they post very interesting or market leading content, or just ahead of their field, and that you can 100% be using their audience to get more visible. And using comment sections for finding people who you want to connect with. What I mean by this is sometimes I'll be posting on, popular creators' comments, but sometimes I'll post on smaller creators' comments, but they've shared something that's either really personal or really something that I really agree with. So it might not get anywhere near as enough traffic, but the people that do agree with that same thing are going to be my people. So you can comment in places where you want to be seen by more people like that. And then the people you may know feature. So this is really, I feel like me showing you the inside might be more helpful at this point. So I'm happy to go break it down. I feel like Emma might be more, or Emma will be more platform versed. So you want me to give you a little show around of what I mean, or are you happy as we are? We can speak. How familiar are you with all the different tools inside the platform? Come on, Kath.
An old person then. I was like, my mouse won't work. I'm not familiar, but I have to leave at 8 and walk the dog. So I might catch this bit and then I'll have to shoot off. But I will be seeing you in your Freedom Formula tomorrow. So
indeed,
you could also pick it up there.
Indeed. Rose says, I think I'm happy. Emma says, I'm familiar, but happy to go with the flow. Awesome. What I might do is do a little rundown after recorded. So all good. Let's crack on. But yeah, the people you may know feature is on the right-hand side. If you're on someone's profile, so that's always handy to get similar people to those. Or if you're on your network page, it often comes up with people based on different subsections. So mine, for example, will be people you might know from London, People you might know because they went to the same university as you. People you might know because they're in the same industry as you. And there's a few different sections there. So definitely worth checking that out. And then tracking your metrics. So this is what we're going to get into over this challenge is of that first page analytics page, you've got your post impressions, you've got people who have been actively searching for you, you've got what else is on there? Your follow accounts. And basically over the next 30 days, so your challenge is going to be to post once a day for 30 days, which is why I want to give you some easier content as well as some more fuller content that you can use over the next 30 days, depending on if you're short on time, there's stuff that you can put up quickly versus the more quality thought leadership content. But what I want you to be doing is at the end of each week, tracking your post analytics or your page analytics so that you can see what progress have you made in that week, and you can really go into what are the posts that I post this week, where can I see the spike in my analytics, what went down well and why is it that it went down well? Did it go down well because I attached a photo and it wasn't just a text-based post? Did it go down well because there were a lot of comments on there and actually that started a whole conversation that brought so much more interest and engagement to my page? It's like, gotta go, no problem. I've noticed the real time videos don't get so much reach. Why do you repurpose it in another format and post them anyway? Awesome. So hang on, let me finish my thoughts. So at the end of each week, we'll do a metrics check-in. And what we're also going to do is measure your SSI score, which I believe is on this next page. I'm just going to have a little look. There's the metrics behind my experiment. So I could actually measure my progress. Was I doing what I wanted to do and seeing growth week on week, which you can see in my followers. Those were new followers growing each week, which was insane. And my profile views started to go bigger and bigger and bigger. What I wanted to see, yes, your social selling index. Emma, have you come across this before? Rosie, have you come across this before? This is a score that not many people know about. Love this. And so I'd known about this in my sales days. They used to talk about it more on the platform and they just don't anymore. So a lot of people don't know that this is a thing. But basically, LinkedIn gives you a score of how well out of 100 you're using the platform. And it breaks it down by 4 categories. So there's 4 sets of 25 that it scores you across. One is building new relationships. One is building your brand. I think another is finding new connections. And I forget what the last one is, but there's 4 different categories that it marks you out of 25 for. And so when you see, oh, I'm scoring really well in this area, but I'm trailing behind over here, you know what to do to change your habits, to get doing what LinkedIn wants to see so that you can do better, basically. Where do you see these scores? So it's hidden. It's on a different link. So what I'll do is pop the link inside the Telegram chat after. It's not easy to find, but it is accessible for everyone. I don't know why they don't tell people about this, because it's really useful. Because initially you might come in and see, oh, I'm only, let's say, 30 out of 100, and Rosie, you've only just started LinkedIn, so for you, for example, you might start at I don't know, 10 out of 100, and it feels like more beginner and that you've got longer to go. But actually you will be able to get that score up really, really easily as soon as you start building these habits, because LinkedIn will see how you're using the platform. So you can very quickly go from 10 to 40. If you're already around the 40, 50, you can easily get that up to 60, 70. And so I would say 60 to 70 is high performer. I've not seen anyone get above 80. Those are the cream of the crop are using it religiously. So we're not going for 100 out of 100, but what I am saying is it's a really useful tool to be able to see how you can use the platform better. So I love the SSI score. This is what it looks like. So you're able to see your score out of 100, what your industry rank is against people who do what you do, and then what your network, so who you're connected with, how you're using it against them. So you've got to establish your professional brand, find the right people, engage with insights, and build relationships. So yeah, really, really handy tool. Don't worry, I can pop a screenshot of this. And what I would encourage you to do is, once I've shared the link in the Telegram chat after, is go screenshot your score for where you're at now. And then over the 30 days, we can measure it and grow it. Awesome. Exciting. So getting clients, post content that speaks to your ideal client, build your professional brand. Let's get your SSI score up and performing. But what I would really love for the next 30 days is for you to build the habit of, yes, posting, but having your comments seen in places that matter. So I'm going to post some creators that are worthwhile engaging for. We want to position you as thought leaders, whilst also then you decide where do you want to take your traffic to. So for example, Emma, it might be that you set a challenge to yourself of you want to add another 500 people to your newsletter this month, for example. It might be that you're running a free masterclass 3 weeks into the month and you're like, no, I really want to drive as much traffic to that because for me, that's my main conversion event. It might be that you're running an opportunity that finalizes on a certain date. There's a deadline for that. And so you're building momentum ahead of that, more so than just collectively being like, DM me for this or book a call here, for example. So have a think about what you want your biggest goal to be over the month of September. And if you want to drive traffic to a certain event, timeline, or link, for example, or whether you want to use this as building interest and talking about your main services. Emma said, out of interest, how much time do you spend on each of these tasks each day, or do you dip in and out? Yeah, I dip in and out. I don't play the LinkedIn game anywhere near as I could. I will put my hands up to that. If I played it as well as I could, then I would make myself wake up earlier and join the morning crew. Because without a doubt, if you're someone that posts in that 8 or 9 period, 100% you're getting more visibility. So Rosie, I don't know if you're a morning person. I believe that you are, because I've seen a lot of sunsets on your page, sunrises, sorry. That morning period before everybody, you know, whether they're eating breakfast or they're going to work or they are traveling to work, for example, that morning period is a far higher traffic, higher visibility time to post. That said, so is lunchtime, as in that sort of 12 till 1 period. And so is this sort of after work time of like 5 till 6. That said, if you can't post in those times, it's not going to be the be all and end all. And there could be stuff that I've thrown up at really odd times. Like, for example, if it was morning in Bali and UK would have been asleep and it still performed well. So it doesn't have to be in those times. I want 2 one-to-one clients from LinkedIn in September. Boom. Absolutely doable. Yeah. Some weekends I do okay too. Exactly. I find, and this is something that you might want to think about, but I find that I like to do different types of content on different days. So on like Friday, I'll do a more easy or lighthearted or a more personal post because I know that everybody's in an almost weekend mood. And on Saturday, Sunday, I might do something more conversational that's just going to get a conversation started. Or post a photo post that's got nothing to do with like business per se, but I know it's going to spike my reach because people just love to be nosy and like get engaged with the photo. Because Monday I'm going to post something business specific and I want to spike my reach ahead of that. So you can toy around, and whether you set Mondays as, you know, when we're thinking about those different types, you might have Mondays teach me, Tuesdays inspire me, Wednesdays challenge me, you know, so that you can have more hard hitting stuff in the middle of the week and then finish nice and easy on a Friday. So up to you if you want to schedule it in that way. Okay. I'm going to post all of this in the Telegram chat after. But yes, for the next 30 days, I'm going to be posting once a day. I'm going to give you some easier things that if you're, you know, in a rush or you just need to get something up quickly, there's that quick fire content. But I've said you can easily repurpose stuff from Instagram, whether it's stuff that's in your Canva, whether it's reels that you've made. I always save them first so that I can share them in other places. You asked me a question around reels. Hang on. I've noticed that the reel type videos don't get as much reach. Do you repurpose it in another format or post them anyway? So I'm not the pro on this, but what I'd say is there was a time when LinkedIn was seemingly really pushing video as if they had that TikTok style video only feed for a little while, didn't they? And everyone was like, oh my God, video is going to be the way forward. And then LinkedIn realized that actually people really liked that LinkedIn was a writing based post platform. And so seemingly steered away from that. But I would still say that although they're not going to be going into video massively, they're not trying to turn into the next TikTok or YouTube. What I would say is experiment with it, because me, for example, I might post a photo that does really well on impressions, but it might not bring a load of my ideal clients. Whereas if I'm speaking about something that's just business specific or my perspective, it might get lower views, but far more of the people I want to speak to will engage with it. So it's varying that balance between what will get you high attention versus who are the people you really want to speak to, and just toying around with it. So maybe you do, 1 to 2 videos a week, but the rest is text posts, and you just play around. Awesome. But yes, I'm all about repurposing. Less is more. Especially if you're like me, for example, I'm like, how can I get the most out of what I'm already doing? So sometimes I'll write first in LinkedIn, and then I'll use that and share it elsewhere, and I'll share that with my email list and then turn it into a carousel. But a lot of the times, that because video is the way that I create easiest and I just think out loud, I might just record it and then be like, oh, that was good. I'll share that in other places. So I think it's more about creating in the way that you create best and just experimenting. What feels good to you? Awesome. Okay, ladies, are we up for this 30-day challenge? Are we excited?
Sarah, I cannot fucking wait. Honestly, this is brilliant. You always bring so much value. Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. I'm excited. What I'm going to do is share a little profile rundown. I'll record something now after. I'll share the SSI link so that you can go figure out what your thing is. We'd love to see you post that as well. Don't worry if it feels like it's shit. You're honestly, especially for you, Rosie, because you're earlier.
I've just looked. It's 13. I'm not shy, honey. Don't worry.
So yeah, but what that means is you're going to have the best analytics.
If I win something, do I get a prize?
Your green will be in the thousands, like 5,000% increase in all of this.
No, literally, like it's only up from here.
So all the possibilities to play for. I'm really, really excited for you. So I'll come meet you in the Telegram chat now. Share all the little bits and bobs and some mini training so that you can find your way properly around the profile and stuff. Get yourself set up first. So if you haven't already, we'll do profile setup first just to make sure you're looking banging. And then going in for the post a day for 30 days. And at the end of each week, we'll do a Sunday check-in so that you can see like what's worked well this week. What are you going to toy more with? Is video really working well for you? Actually, was hard-hitting posts really well for you? Did you get a load of engagement because you shared a spicy opinion? So that you can like have more data-driven informed decisions. Because we love, post and hope for the best, but we also like data.
Amazing.
And just lastly, to add on that, I think this is the case with any social media platform, but it is something on LinkedIn that if you can do a little bit of activity before you do your post, that helps. And stick around after you've posted, whether it's people commenting on your post that you can quickly reply to, it helps build the compounding interest bigger. So yeah, engaging with others around that time and not just doing a post and ghost, as Emma mentioned earlier on. So yes, so social platforms, the more social you can be, it definitely helps push your content higher, for sure. So I'll share some good creators that you can get involved in their conversations and chats with. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Have you got any other questions or you wanting to get cracking, get stuck in?
I'm all good. Just thank you so much. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I was like, thank you. Just realized I haven't posted today. Well, there we go. Announce it. 30-day challenge. Get your whole community like in it. All good,
Sure.
ladies. Thank you for coming along. Awesome to see you guys. And I shall see you inside the Telegram chat. Let's go explode your LinkedIn.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.